Hi, it's Nicole, and today I'm doing a bit of an update because there have been a lack of updates. I actually filmed an August wrap-up at the end of August or beginning of September, and I just never got around to editing it, but I think I'll probably try editing it a little bit and then putting some clips at the end of this video, maybe. And since the last time I did a video, I have not been doing that much reading, I guess, because just work things have been going sort of well, which is great, but also, I mean, it means less stuff to film and talk about, I guess. But also another reading related thing is that I have read a few comics recently because someone from work lent me some comics to read, and I read them, and I prioritized them ahead of other books that I was reading at the time, just because if someone's lent me something, I like to try to read it as soon as I can and then give it back to them as soon as I possibly can, because I don't want to be like that bad person to lend to. But it was also kind of awkward for me because some of the books that I was reading at the time already were library books, and so obviously they have a deadline, and I don't really want to keep library books too long because I don't want to get fees, and also I feel like I don't want to keep renewing them so that other people can't read them. But all of that aside, I finished The Last Children of Tokyo and I liked it. It was a little bit weird, particularly towards the end, and maybe I'll comment more on it at the end of this month, but I did like it, and yeah, I'll talk more about it later. And I've been toying with the idea of adding a bit more of my illustration life to this channel, possibly. I'll put a few clips at the end of this video of that kind of flavor of content as well, and you can let me know if that's something that you'd be interested in or not. I mean, ultimately I'm just going to decide whatever I feel like doing anyway, but if that's not something that you're interested in, then I don't know, I'll make it really clear that it's illustration content if I'm ever doing that, and then you can just avoid those videos if you want to. I don't know. But that's probably all that's interesting to say right now, so I'll just add a bunch of clips at the end of this video, and hopefully it comes together in a cohesive way that makes sense and is interesting to watch. Hi, it's Nicole, and today I'm going to be doing a super quick update on the Women in Translation readathon that I was taking part in the last week of August. Now, I'm just going to say right now I didn't finish any of the books that I had set aside to finish, but I am partway into 2 out of the 3 of them, and I'm really enjoying both of them, and I think I will really enjoy the third one as well when I get around to it, but I just lost track of things a lot more than I thought I was going to, so that just happens sometimes. I think I'd already started It's Only Blood at the beginning of the readathon, and I'm still somewhere around that mark where I was then, but it has been really interesting, and I've highlighted quite a lot and made a few notes and things. And I've also got a little ways into The Last Children of Tokyo by Yōko Tawada, and I guess enjoying it is kind of a weird, morbid sounding way to put things, but I really do like the writing and the story and the commentary that's peeking through, and the kind of ways that it's making me look at certain things with a slightly different perspective. That's been really cool, and I think I will definitely be looking for more books by Yōko Tawada in future, but I haven't finished that yet, so expect an update at some point later on that one. And then the one I haven't even started yet is Confessions, and that's the one that I was actually looking forward to the most, but I wanted to get the others out of the way first so I could really focus on it. These 2, though, are library books, so my time with them is going to draw to a close soon. I've renewed them already, probably a little bit early, but yeah, hopefully at the end of this month there will be some opinions on those 2. So because I haven't finished any of those, and I don't really want to start chatting about them yet, I thought I would just merge the end of Women in Translation readathon with my August wrap-up. In August, the first book that I read was L'Âme du Monde, and it was a French book that I read in French, and it was not what I thought it was going to be. So I think the author, Frédéric Lenoir, is very well known in the French literature world, I gathered, maybe. Certainly he seems to be an academic of some sort, or like a theologian kind of academic or something, but I didn't know any of that going into it. I knew nothing about it. I just read the back of the book, and to me the back of the book seemed like it was maybe a sort of quest fantasy sort of book, and I thought, oh, that sounds kind of interesting. Turns out it was a pretty spiritual book, but it was kind of interesting, I guess. I think, to be honest, I think what I enjoyed the most about it was the reading it in French, and it was really exciting that I could get through the whole book and hardly need to look up anything at all, and so that was pretty cool. But, I mean, the actual book itself I thought was pretty simplistic in its philosophy. It didn't really tell me anything new, and it just felt a little bit, I guess not cheesy, but no one's really all that bad. Everything's wrapped up in a nice little bow. Everything feels a little bit, it's a little bit like a fable, I guess, which is fitting, but it also felt very simplistic to me. And it was very, like, like mindfulness and spiritual kind of messages that feel very just cliche. But, yeah, I don't know. I gave it a 3 out of 5, so it was still, it was alright, you know? Like, if you like that kind of thing, then maybe you'll love it, so. Next 2 books were the books that I read for the POC-a-thon, and that was A Small Place and Convenience Store Woman, both of which I really enjoyed. And what I actually didn't expect from that kind of readathon was that Meonicorn from the Bookish land actually just happened to have read Convenience Store Woman as well, and we got quite a really fun dialogue going on that, and I think I would really, really like to do more read-alongs with other people and that kind of thing. So I'm really looking forward to her readathon that she has coming up in October. I'll leave the information below. She always has really interesting things to say about books in general, but this one in particular is one from the Chinese classic canon, if I have that right. And I think it'll be really interesting, well, to get everyone's opinion, but to get her opinion in particular on that, and hear what she kind of has to say about the translation of that as well, because one of the issues that I ran into when I was reading Convenience Store Woman was that the translation felt like it was kind of getting in the way. If you check out both of our reviews, I guess, then you can kind of get the whole picture of what I'm trying to say really badly right now. And Meonicorn's really great, so I think you should check out her channel anyway. She's just like really fun to talk to and has some really great perspective on the things that she reads, so yeah, go over there. And the last book that I read in August was The Wicked and the Divine, which I didn't have huge expectations for going in. I know it's a really popular graphic novel, but it kind of, I guess, slipped under my radar, and then someone from work lent it to me, and it's not my kind of thing. It felt very like, you know that feeling when you read a book and it's constantly telling you instead of showing? I mean, that feels really weird and ironic to say about a graphic novel, but it felt like it was telling me constantly instead of showing me. And it was constantly like, this is really extreme. And I thought, well, I mean, when you're just introduced to all these new characters and the world and all of that stuff, and everything is extreme, then nothing kind of feels extreme. It feels cancelled out, and to me it just felt really melodramatic in the end, and like, I guess very I don't like using this word in sort of a pejorative kind of way, but it felt very teenage to me. And I don't want that to sound negative, because my opinion of the book is a little bit negative, but I guess what I mean is just that it felt like a juvenile sort of idea about what is really deep and what is really extreme and what is really, I don't know, like Oh, it was just disorganized as well, and there's just nothing really worked for me. It just felt like a disorganized, pseudo-extreme, hollow kind of story wrapped up in some pretty illustration, and that just did not work for me at all. I gave it a 2 out of 5 stars to be generous, but I will not be continuing that series unless my friend forces the next one on me and I feel guilted into reading it, in which case you'll hear more on that later. So that was my August. I hope you had a good reading month. I think I probably didn't read as much as I could have done, but I was chilling because it was my birthday month, so I have no regrets at all. So if you have any comments about anything at all, leave it in the comments below, and I look forward to chatting with you there. Bye!
That's just here to the horizon, right? Like, this is me until I die. And, like, I know that sounds grim, but at the same time...